What is the role of steroids in? Is there a role
So
of steroids?
steroids obviously banned. They're not allowed in any locker room. We don't use them.
Not in the locker room, but in general.
Well, steroids are banned in and out of the locker room. So if someone is prescribing them, then you really don't want to work with them. And there is no room for performance enhancing drugs in sport. It shouldn't be spoken about. It shouldn't be tried. It shouldn't even be mentioned anywhere, because it's not just performance enhancing through the lens. They have massive detrimental effects on your organs.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask
You know.
about, because the short-sightedness of steroids is okay. You might perform a little better now, but the long-term effect of that is very detrimental.
Correct.
And being caught with it is even more detrimental to your career.
Right.
But I'm sure there's some kind of usage that is there, or it's not there at all.
It's difficult for me to say because I don't have exposure to it and I don't work. No one's gonna walk up to me and ask me what performance enhancing drug can I take. That's not a conversation I would entertain.
Right.
If you're working with someone who's entertaining that conversation, then there lies your fundamental problem. That person just doesn't have your best interest at heart.
You know why I'm asking you this question? It's not to just know this. It's if there is a future athlete that is watching this podcast,
Yeah.
and they're young, and there's a lot of chatter around them. The reason I'm asking these kind of questions is to help them understand
Yeah.
that don't do it.
Yeah. The reason, like I said, if anyone's bringing up the subject in your ecosystem, you're in the wrong ecosystem. You're working with the wrong person. You have to get away from there. Because sport is a pure meritocracy. It's a byproduct of hard work, hard training, all of that. There are lots of supplements we do use that can help recovery, help strength building, that are completely illegal. Your branch chain amino acids, your glutamine, your carcinine, for example. We use a lot of brahmi, ashwagandha. We can even use natural things like cordyceps to raise energy. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, that we can start to use. Going into steroids and anabolics, where they bring an abnormal effect to the muscle, is very, very dangerous. You predispose yourself to a lot of risk and a lot of organ damage in the same place. So if someone's bringing up this narrative, I don't advise you even move down that line and do it. When I worked in the Pro Kabaddi League, when a player got injured, and the first couple of years, I was capturing a lot of data because we're having a high level of ACL incidents, and one of the things to let you know how bad the situation is, like a player will get injured and the next morning he's gone. He's not even with the team. He's gone back to his village to see his own doctor. What that guy gives him, how he gives him, he doesn't. The player will literally tell you, don't worry, I got it under control. I'll see you in 3 days. Whether he comes, whether he doesn't come, we have no idea. This will never happen in any other sport, But this level of unprofessionalism only exists because we as a sporting nation have not evolved to that level, And we don't put a high amount of emphasis on even data. Like I remember even in the Pro Kabaddi, there was a year when I told them, they were changing our mats that the players played on, and we had mat densities of about, I think, 9 millimeters, and we were making it 11 millimeters, which meant more shock absorption. And I kept telling them that these guys play on mud the whole year round. The responsiveness of mud is very different to the responsiveness of foam.
Yeah.
If we increase the density by 2 millimeters, we increase the risk quite significantly. No one interested in this data, and exactly that happens. We had in that year the incidence of ACL, which are career ending for Kabaddi players, increased by almost 20% in that particular season. So, sports science is very, very important. Paying attention to the data is very important. But I feel that the right decision makers are not getting access to the right information to make things, to make correct decisions. And unfortunately in sport, only the athlete suffers. So the athlete, we need to fast track his education where he understands fully what the ramifications of every decision are.
True. And this was an eye-opener for me that whatever you're doing, it's on you.
Yeah.
Coach is not going to have any responsibility for it.
Zero.
How do you think that the childhood trauma or stress or everything plays out with players on the field?
So it's difficult because it's for each athlete, the case is completely different, and we can't accept full responsibility for everything that's happening because we can't change the environments they grow up. What we can acknowledge is that there's cultural nuance. People coming from different backgrounds would have different stresses. We can take responsibility for putting systems into place to help them deal with that. There's two cases that you mentioned. One, you said close to retirement, mid-30s. But there's another case where when the athlete's breaking into professionalism. Right. So when an athlete's breaking in, coming in from that background, it's very, very important for us to have certain psychometric and psychological checks and balances to help them develop positive mental health. That's our full responsibility. If an athlete's got to an end of a career at 35, 40, that means he's already been a professional athlete for 15 to 20 years, right? Surely enough, he's made enough money, right, to understand that I should put certain interventions in place to take care of that health.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So on that end of the spectrum, I'd like them to take more responsibility for their own mental health, understanding fully that my mental health is impacting the way I parent and the way I have a partner too, wherever I'm with.
Yeah.
Right. And on the other side of the spectrum, I want us to accept more responsibility for putting healthier systems in place because it's critically important.